Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at the possible weather in the United States during the month of August in this video, and I'm going to do what I do with my British month-ahead forecast. I'm going to use the temperature and precipitation anomaly charts from the Beijing Climate Centre, and I'm going to use those charts to attempt to come up with a possible forecast for the weather in the United States during the course of August. Now, before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos at gavsweathervids.com. Please play those video ads. You'll be supporting gavsweathervids.com if you do that. The other thing I want to talk about is the Beijing Climate Centre. You can find the link to the Beijing Climate Centre on my links page. Just follow the links tab at the bottom of this page, click on that, go to the links page. There you'll see the link for the Beijing Climate Centre. Click on that and you'll go through to the Beijing Climate Centre. You'll be able to check out these charts for yourself. So if you're not familiar with the Beijing Climate Centre monthly forecast, I just want to explain what's happening with these charts. These are temperature and precipitation anomaly charts that we're going to be using for this video. And it's broken down, these charts, into 10-day periods. So this chart that we're looking at here is the temperature anomaly chart from the Beijing Climate Centre for the 1st to the 10th of August, and then we'll go on into the second 10-day period, which will be the 11th to the 20th, and then again we'll go on to the third 10-day period, which will be the 21st to the 30th. So let's have a look at the temperature anomaly for the first 10-day period for the United States. Again, this is the 1st to the 10th of August. We can see that the bulk of the United States is forecast to have a warm first 10 days of August. A little bit cooler up here to the northeast perhaps, but really the bulk of the states away from this western coast, the western coast there, which is cooler. The bulk of the United States is forecast to have a warm first 10 days of the month. So let's go on now and have a look at the second 10-day period, and here is the second 10-day period. This is the 11th to the 20th, and again we see it away from this western and northwestern coast, the bulk of the United States again having above average temperatures forecast for this middle period of August. The anomaly perhaps not quite as intense here, the above average anomaly perhaps not quite as intense as the first period, particularly up here in the northeast perhaps, but really the bulk of the states is again above average during this second period of August. And then finally going into the third period, which is the 21st to the 30th of August, we see that well, the warm anomaly is actually starting to shrink here. It's starting to become confined to these southern and southeastern states then, with many of these western, northern and northeastern parts of the states seeing those temperatures coming down. So the temperatures do start to drop off, the Beijing Climate Centre is forecasting, once we get through to the last 10 days of August, with the heat, the warmth really starting then to become confined to these southern and southeastern states, with the north, the west and the northeast beginning to turn cooler. Now having a look at the precipitation anomalies for August, and we can see that for the first 10-day period, so again this is the 1st to the 10th of August, we've got some above average precipitation being forecast up here around the Great Lakes and in the northeast, and along this eastern coast as well, along the eastern seaboard we've got above average precipitation anomalies being forecast. So probably quite a wet unsettled period to start off with in this northeastern corner. But really for many of these central and western parts, the anomaly is below average, so a dry and average anomaly here for many of these central and western parts of the United States. And then once we come down to these Gulf states, we've got a signal here, a weak signal for above average. Of course that could be a tropical storm or hurricane related. Going into the second period, the 11th to the 20th, well, again we have these we have below average precipitation anomalies here in these western areas, but the area is shrinking. If we look at the area for the first 10-day period, it's quite a large area stretching into many of these central states. But once we get through to the second period, the 11th to the 20th, that drier than average area is beginning to shrink back towards this western coast, with then this wetter area, the above average precipitation anomalies in the east and the northeast beginning to extend further out towards those central states. And once we get through to the final period from the 21st to the 30th, we see quite a large area now of above average precipitation through many of these central states. So that area from the northeast has gradually extended further and further westwards, and now the drier than average area, the below average precipitation anomalies, are confined really to this western coast, with many of these northern, central, eastern and northeastern states, but bulk of the United States actually forecast to have above average precipitation once we get through to the final 10 days of August. So this does imply that we are going to see a gradual breaking down of the drought through many of those central states, I think, once we get through to the last period, the last 10 days of August. Having a look at the anomalies for the month, so this is the temperature anomaly for August from the 1st to the 30th. We can see that the bulk of the United States here forecast to have a warmer than average month. It does look like being quite a warm month. Below average temperatures for the month confined to this western and northwestern part of the states, and perhaps around some of these northeastern areas as well. But really the bulk of the United States is forecast to have a warmer than average month. And for precipitation, well, we see that we actually have quite a wet month here being forecast for many of these eastern and northeastern parts. It is going to be a wetter than average month if the model is correct. Drier than average through these central and western areas, and where we've got this creamy coloured area, which is quite a big area in the Midwest, the Midwestern states having these creamy colours, that's average. That's masking the fact that we have a dry start, and slowly but surely that unsettled weather from the east and the northeast gradually backs further west, so that by the time we get through to the final 10-day period, much of these Midwestern areas, these central parts of the states, by the end of the end of August, we are seeing above average rainfall, with this drier than average area really confined to this western coast. So this anomaly for the month, this precipitation anomaly for the month, is actually a little bit uncertain, I think, really, to take this too seriously. We can take it seriously up to the northeast and to the west, but for these central areas, remember what it's masking is that we have a dry start, and it gradually turns wetter and wetter as the month wears on. So that's the forecast from the Beijing Climate Centre model. It's going to be a warmer than average month for the bulk of the United States, but a wetter than average month in the east and the northeast, and that wetter than average area will gradually extend westwards, so that by the end of the month it's wet across the bulk of the states, with just those western states on the west coast there still drier than average. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.